Welcome to Roy's Racing, the channel for mediocre sim racers everywhere. And this is episode 6 of our My Team career mode in the F122 game. And as you can see on the screen there, Ava's currently sitting in 10th place in the driver's standings after 5 races. And Aurora Australis is sitting in 7th place in the constructors. All of the points have come from Ava. So far, Oscar Piastri, our teammate, really hasn't scored any points yet. But that's okay, because now the game has released a patch. Now, this caused us dramas in this race, as you'll see what happens once we get into it. But now that the game's been patched, all of the team personnel upgrades that you can do are now starting to have an effect. And this means that over time now, Piastri is going to get better because we can actually put some money into upgrading his skills. So that's going to be useful for us. But for the moment, it hasn't happened yet. So yeah, we're still waiting for Piastri to kind of get himself up to that kind of level. But nonetheless, we've been doing okay. So 5 races into the championship, we're sitting in 10th place in the driver's standings, and I'm really happy with that. And we're looking forward to seeing how far we can develop the car as the season moves on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our activities. So first thing we're going to do is going to go visit the sponsor's headquarters. Then we're going to do some simulator training for Oscar. And then we're going to do an advertisement with our sponsors. And that's, again, to raise our acclaim. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to go in and do some R&D upgrades. And you can see on the screen there at the moment, they're actually still the 3rd worst car in the game. But we have had some upgrades come in. We got new spark plugs, and that's unlocked a couple of upgrades for us in the engine power and in the ERS. Now we're going to go straight into getting more engine power. I know we haven't got any discounts for that yet, but we need more engine power because we're still waiting for Codemasters to fix that issue where the AI cars have a bonus coming out of slow speed corners. And the other thing we've done is we've actually got ourselves a new sponsor. So we've gone with Opaque, and their colors are sort of red, as you can see on the screen there, but when we've done this, what that's happened is our main sponsor, which is XXY, they have asked us to change our livery to focus on them a bit more. And so we've got a lot more gold has come into the car. And this is what it looks like. So as I said, we've got a lot more gold. We're really enhancing the XXY colors, which is a lot more gold. So we've changed their logo on the car from white into a goldish yellow as a matte finish on top of the metallic glossy color of the car itself. So it's subtle, but it really works. And we've got a lot less green in the livery now. So I think this car looks absolutely outstanding. I really love what this looks like. And it's just, it really does look beautiful on the track. We did do the Pirelli hot lap. We only managed a bronze with this one, and I'm not going to show it. It was woeful. So we got to the track, we did practice, and then we got into qualifying, and that's when I remembered that I had forgotten to change over to the new engine parts rather than using the worn ones I used for practice. So now we've got to do qualifying and the race with a worn engine. So yeah, okay then, that's that's embarrassing. So we ended up only being able to do one run in Q1 because we had to do the time to change over the engine components. So that limited our ability. Nonetheless, we're having a pretty good run here, but we did qualifying and practice before the patch came out from Codemasters. And before I did the race, I actually had some real life things to do, so I waited a couple of days before I did the race itself. The patch came out, So the qualifying run, the car's a lot nicer compared to what's going to happen in the race. So as we come around onto the main straight here, we end up, I think it shows us somewhere in the top 10, sixth place. So into our first lap in Q2 here, and Verstappen's just done the fastest time, but we're coming onto the straight here, and we've actually had a couple of purple sectors. So we think we're doing really, really well, and we end up in second place. Now that's half a second behind Verstappen. And I think, okay, then this is going to be good. We're going to be in a really good spot here, and I don't need to go out for another run. And I just let the system go, and then at the end of the session, it all goes wrong again, and 14th. So, yeah, we should have gone out for another run. I reckon if we'd gone out and done another run, we might have actually made it into the top 10, which would have made this race so much easier to do. But 14th is where we're starting the race.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture of the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day, he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat out this weekend. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz, completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, George Russell, and Perez, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, and Lando Norris, Joe, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Ava, Ricciardo, Gasly, Alex Albon, and Sebastian Vettel, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. A warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who is beside me in the commentary box today. Let's start with Alfa Romeo. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
So a pole position for Charles Leclerc, another pole position. Hopefully this time he can convert it into some decent points, or even better, a podium or even a race win, because so far this season he's had no luck at all. It's just been never-ending dramas in that first race, in the first episode, if you remember. And if you don't remember, go back and watch it, because it's the last lap of the race and his team calls him into the pits after a minor collision with a backmarker that he's trying to lap. It's just he's coming onto the main straight there. They call him into... It's just I still laugh when I look at it. He had a minor collision with a backmarker that he was lapping, but because he was coming onto the straight, they called him into the pits. So he's in the pits to start the last lap. He was 5 seconds in front of, I think it was Verstappen at the time, and ended up finishing 5th or 6th or way down the grid, and gave Verstappen the win. It was just ridiculous strategy call. They could have just left him out for that last lap, and he probably would have got the race win with 5 seconds in front, even with minor damage to his wing. But also this season, how far ahead is Carlos Sainz? Just the contrast between the two Ferrari drivers. Sainz has disappeared into the distance. He's so far ahead, leading the championship. I think he's won a couple of races, and he's in second place for this race. And they've got Verstappen in third place. Now, Verstappen's won a race. He's sitting in second place in the championship, but he's a long way behind Sainz, and he's really looking for a good result here to try and get himself up and catch up a bit. So hopefully he's looking to win the race to keep his championship alive, because if he doesn't win this one and Sainz does, he just falls further behind, and he'll probably be close to 2 wins behind. And that's basically Sainz DNFing and Verstappen winning 2 races just so that he can catch Sainz. And given that we're, over a quarter of the way through the season, I think he does need to manage to get himself, up there better, and he's looking for a better result this race. So that's the three championship rivals. But we're getting close to a race start here, and we've got all of the lights are on, and we're ready to go. And you can see we actually had a really good start, but then there's the power that the AI cars have, and they start driving away from us again. We're managing to hang on, and we still yeet it up the inside here, and we don't actually have any contact with anybody, and so we've jumped up 3 places now into 11th place, and we're looking to go around the outside of Zhou Guan Yu, but we have to back out of it because the safety car has been called out. It's the first lap of the race, and we've got our first safety car. And you can see Vettel at the back there, so he's trying to come through, and then he jinks to the right to have a go past, I think that's Gasly. It's one of the Alpha Tauris, and he runs up the back of them because they go to the right as well, and then he ends up taking out the other one of the Alpha Tauris, and so all 3 of them have had a horrible start to the race. But if we go back and have another look at the start of the race from the point of view of the leaders here, you can see that Leclerc gets away really, really well, and Verstappen as well. So he's come from 3rd up into 2nd, but he's gone for a 2-stopper here because he's got, well, he might not be going for a 2-stopper, but he's starting on the soft tyres to try and get in front. And that's worked well for him off the start here because he's managed to come around those corners faster than the Ferraris, and he's jumped into the lead of the race. Leclerc in 2nd, Carlos Sainz in 3rd. And that's where they are as they start the safety car period. But coming to the end of it now, so we're coming off the chicane and we start planting it, and you can see we're 0.7 seconds behind, but that number has grown. So already we're 1.1 seconds behind, and it's just growing, that number. The sheer amount of power that they have, or the ability to put that power down as you come off a slow corner there. Zhou Guan Yu is now 1.2 seconds ahead of us. So that's half a second that they've gained just going down the straight. And there's not much we can do, and it's about here I started to realise that we're going to have a problem, because as I go around that sweeping right-hander there, the back end keeps wanting to kick out, and that happens in every lap. So I can't keep it flat through there anymore like I could in practice. But now we're riding with Perez, who's coming up behind Bottas here, and Bottas has had a major brake lock up there, and so that's given Perez the opportunity to come up and take 6th place from him. But now we've gone back down the grid, and we're on lap 7 here, watching Lando Norris. And now he's coming up to try and catch up with Esteban Ocon here. And he's trying to go round the outside of him. But this McLaren is planted to the track now. And I think part of this is due to the fact that McLaren's got a big buff in the patch that came out. And so they're a lot faster than their qualifying is now indicating. And you can see Ricciardo's just had a go against Gasly there, and he's just passed him really easy through those corners. But now we're riding with us here, and as we come off this corner, so we get a nice run off here, no wheel spin, we're doing okay. But then there's Lando Norris in our mirrors, and look, he's just coming up past us like we're not even there. He's just drove past us. Now, admittedly, we didn't have any ERS, but seriously, that amount of power, the advantage that he has there, the McLarens, they're so much faster than us now, which is annoying because we were looking at them as championship rivals. So now we've got Leclerc coming up behind Verstappen, who's also had a lock-up at the end of the main straight there. So I think Verstappen's gone probably a lap or two too many on those soft tyres. And so, yeah, at the end of lap 9, we're on to lap 10 here. He's decided to come in and put the hard tyres on, but that's going to mean he's coming out way down the grid. But we're on lap 9, so for us it's still lap 9, we're coming on to start lap 10 now, and we've got Mick Schumacher coming up alongside us here. He's trying to get us again with that power, and as we come through there, he's ahead of us, but we're still coming back at him. We're not going to give this one up. We're going to have a go. We still can't go flat out round that corner because of the inability to put the power down, but we managed to hang on for just long enough to stay alongside him, and we're not giving this one up. We're going to keep at him here, and we keep going round all his right-handers, all the way around the outside, squeeze him to the right, but we managed to keep that position, and so we've managed to stay in 12th place. But as we come on to the main straight here, as the next time round, I think we're going to have a drama because he's probably just going to go past us. He's right up behind us, and Ricciardo's right up behind him. So yes, you can see Schumacher's coming up alongside on the outside there, but Ricciardo's decided to go on the right-hand side. Schumacher's got past us. Ricciardo's trying to do the double overtake, big lock-up, but he manages to catch it, And it looks like he's going to get that position. So he's managed to get a double overtake. But in the end, we're just falling behind there again. But now we're on lap 10 and we've got Alexander Albon and Esteban Ocon now having their own little battle here. And side by side in that right-hander at the end of the main straight, they're swapping positions, but they're still going at it, hammer and tongs. It's really close, really brilliant racing. And it looks like Albon's got it done here, but if you have a look, Ocon, he's coming back at him round the outside again. He's not giving this one up. So Ocon's now got the inside run in the left-hander, and so he's going to try and do that. But he gets squeezed in there. So it's Albon gives him just enough racing room, but not enough to really get the run off the corner. And so in the end, Albon manages to hang on to that position. So now we're watching Perez here as he comes up behind Bottas, who's had another run wide. And yeah, so Perez manages to get past him. So I think we're getting close to seeing some of the guys come into the pits here. But here we have Albon trying to come up alongside us. And again, he's got the power advantage as we come down the straight, and he's got ERS and DRS, but we're not going to give it up. We never give it up. We always fight. So we're staying alongside and nearly touched there, but didn't quite. But yeah, here we go. Round the outside again. We're hanging on to that position for dear life, but in the end, there's not much we can do. And yeah, our tyres are going off and he's doing it. So now we have a look back here. We've got Lance Stroll on lap 14 trying to come past Oscar Piastri. Now, Oscar's been watching, well, he's been watching Eva in the last races, and he knows that she never gives up. She gets the elbows out. She does a real Devon Butler sort of driving style. She doesn't mind getting a bit of biffo in here. And Piastri's now trying the same thing. It's like, you want to go past me? You're going to work for it. So, yeah, Lance Stroll, he's trying and he's managed to do it, but he had to work for it across multiple corners with them sitting alongside each other. And Piastri has another look, but in the end, he's just got to settle and get back into 18th place. So now, here we are coming in for the pit stop. So Charles Leclerc's come into the pits, which is hand over the lead of the race to Carlos Sainz. But yeah, Leclerc's putting the hard tyres on here. Now remember, Verstappen pitted earlier and he was in second place. So whereabouts is Leclerc going to come out? And Verstappen's nowhere in sight. So it looks like that the undercut has definitely not worked for Verstappen. It's been a great overcut for Leclerc. And yeah, Verstappen, you saw him in the distance there. He was like 5 or 6 seconds behind. But now we have Carlos Sainz, who's come in for his pit stop. He inherited the lead from Leclerc, but he's managed to go out for one more lap. And the undercut has not worked again for Leclerc, and the overcuts work for Sainz, but Leclerc's got warmer tyres, so he's coming up behind him there. Is he going to have a go? No. So Sainz has made that Ferrari very, very wide, but he's now got the lead of the race, and now we've got the two McLarens. So Ricciardo's trying to get past Lando Norris. We're on lap 18 here. The McLarens are side by side, but Ricciardo, where has he found this pace from? He's been sitting down way behind everyone, behind Norris for the whole season, but now he's got pace. And now we've got Hamilton coming up alongside Russell there. Looks like he's managed to get that position. But, is that a little bit of twitch of oversteer, and he's had to back out of it, and that's given Russell back that position. So, yeah, they're staying in 5th and 6th place, but now Hamilton on the main straight, he's got DRS now, and he's just driven past him now, and in the end made it look like it was a nice easy move, and that gets him up to 4th place, and Russell's now back down to 5th. And you can see at the lead there, Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen, they're still up in front. We're watching the Ferraris here. What's going on here? Oh, no! No! Leclerc's done it. He's on his own. He didn't touch anybody, and Verstappen's managed to get past him there. So Verstappen, we're on lap 24 now. Leclerc's just oversteered it, given it too much jandal, and he's now lost it down into 3rd place. And now we've got Perez up again, look after George Russell, and Russell's been shunted back down another place now, down to 6th place. So now we've got, is this Fernando Alonso slowing down? This is his 2nd engine failure, I think, at least his 2nd. And this is just bad luck for the previous world champion there. I don't know what's happening with those Renault engines. But now we're having a look with Mick Schumacher. He's trying to get past Lando Norris. So I think something's happening with his tyres, because Ricciardo's got past him, and now Schumacher's got past him. And yeah, Lando Norris has been shunted down now, so he's in 12th place, while his teammate Ricciardo is actually up in the points. And you know, that's not good news for us because that means McLaren's going to score points. But here we are on lap 29, and you can see on the left there, that's the blue flags waving. We're getting lapped by the leader. So Carlos Sainz is going to come past us here. We're going to do the right thing and let him past. And yeah, this is embarrassing. So we're doing a 50% race distance, and the leader has managed to lap us. Yeah, this just shows how slow we've been. And here we are. It's the end of lap 33, and Sainz has won the race by over 8 seconds for Verstappen. Charles Leclerc, give him another lap and he probably would have passed, because if you watch him here, he's just catching up at the end of the straight there. And he would have loved to have had another go to get up into second place. In the end, we've finished in 14th. No points for us. 1 point for McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo, which isn't going to help us in the championship stakes.
A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So, no points for us. 14th place. McLaren's managed to score a point, and they're gone further ahead of us now. Our championship, yeah, we're sitting down there. I think, you know, we've gone down a position in the championship. But still, thank you for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next time for episode 7, which is, I think, Azerbaijan.